Welcome back, educators. I know we've all heard these excuses coming from the students. Hey, I tried to submit it to you. It just didn't go through. Oh, my internet was down. I wasn't able to open the assignment itself. I couldn't submit a file. If you've heard this, we're going to take a look at student submission statuses coming up. If it's your first time here, this channel is all about instructional design and building the best course for your digital learning platform. Through all of my videos, I go through settings and the proper ways to set up assignments, discussions, and how to actually build a course specifically through Blackboard Ultra. In the future, I'm going to be building assignments and due dates and setting videos specifically on Canvas to get you guys prepared for your next semester. Now, in this video, we're going to be talking about student submissions specifically for assignments. In Blackboard Ultra, they have a lot of statuses that tell you what's going on, where the student's at in their actual submission process. So let's dive right in and take a look. So as I thought about how I wanted to share this video with you guys, I set up some example discussions, example assignments, and a test specifically with pools, kind of show you the various student settings that you have or the student statuses that you have on these particular assignments. So I will be using my student preview mode to go in and complete assignments so that you can see live, real-time, how an assignment actually responds to that particular status. The first one that I wanted to take a look at is an example discussion. I've gone in here and set a due date for this example discussion. I've gone in and replied using my preview user as well as a test student so we can see two students engaging in a discussion. Now, this one I talk about not owning a dog, but if I did, it would be fun and entertaining. I can take them to a dog park and take them on hikes. The student comes back and says, I have a dog named Winston. So as I go into this discussion in the instructor view, I can see the thread where students posted their original response. I can also see what replies the student has made on another person's post. If I want to go and sort through individual participants, I have a participant list that I can actually see when they've responded and if they've replied. So now as I grade this, I can see in here that students have attempted it. Maybe I've already completed this using that rubric. They show that they have an automatic 0 here. So I can go and click into this person's submission. I can see their original post and I can see who they actually commented on and what they actually commented with. Now, this one does have an automatic 0 because I have that set up. It does have a rubric attached to it. We can see that with this icon, and it does give me some status on, how well they actually replied. What's the lexicon variation? Is there a critical thinking level, word variation? It talks about, writing levels the student actually had. So I don't have any of that data because it is a very simple discussion. But just know as your students are going through your course and completing this, you actually have this analysis breakdown of their engagement. Now, I am looking at this individual person. I can see that the participant participated and it was late, so they got that automatic 0, and I did not go in and change this using that rubric. So I can go in and say, well, they have an initial response, and I can now give them points for that particular discussion. I can give them feedback using this icon here and tell them, hey, great job, but you also were late, so you're going to have some points marked on that, and communicate them one-on-one. I can also go to the next student using this arrow, and again, this is kind of just grading. You can see that I have more, data on this analysis, but I do see that they responded, and it's nowhere red. That means that they did it on time. So it says that one person responded, and they did it on time. I can see the replies to this individual person. It is red over here specifically because it is not meeting the criteria for that rubric for this actual discussion. So it's not complex. It's a second grade writing level. There's only a few words that they actually used, and word variation is at 50%. So it was just a very simple, I have a dog named Winston. There's not a lot of data there. I can see that they did, this analysis took a couple of hours from the time that the person posted it on the 25th, that the analysis came in on the 26th. So there is some lag time between that. Just know that we know that this person submitted it on time because of how this is treating their assignment. Going back to the previous page, you can see this grade and participant page that it does have a student status originality, status on their actual discussion. We have 2 people that has made entries. It's telling us that entry was made. I have 1 person that no entry was made at all. It doesn't mean that they went in and, participated in that. Now, I do not have the setting where it is post first. So this person could potentially go in there and read people's participation there, but they did not actually post or reply in this discussion. So it gives me that no entry. The other thing is the grading status. I do have 1 to be graded. The other 2 are complete, and you can see that they've received automatic zeros, and it was posted automatically. Where this one is waiting for a grade, I can simply type in a grade here. I can go back and use the rubric for this particular assignment. I have it set where you can actually grade using the rubric. Next, I wanted to jump into an example assignment. If I click on this assignment, you can see that I have a due date. I have a prompt. This is going to be a reflection paper where students will submit to me a reflection on what's going on the campus, what's their strengths and weaknesses about the assignments that they completed in Unit 1. This does have a due date. There are no submissions. So what I wanted to do is come into my student preview and complete this assignment live, then go back and see what the actual status is like. So I'm going to jump into this folder. I'm going to jump into the example assignment. And when students first click on the assignment, it does pop over this pop-up menu. A lot of people call it the panel. And it does give me the due dates, the attempts, the points. If there was a description, it would be down here. And they have the option to view the assessment. Now, if the students just simply click off of this, it doesn't actually update the status. The student didn't open the assignment. They didn't look at the assignment. So it will say unopened and they did not submit it. If the student then clicks into this and says view assessment, we can see that they opened it. Now, if I just go and hit exit, it will give the status that it was opened, but it is not saved as a draft. So let me go back to my instructor view. I'm going to go and exit this, saving the student preview user. And now I can go to that actual assignment and see the status of the individual students. I'm going to go over here to the submissions. There are 0 because the student did not submit anything. But it does say that my preview user opened it on this particular day at the particular time. It does say that the draft is saved. So they did open it. All we did was click off of it and it says that it was open. The other 2 students have not viewed it, so it tells me that it is unopened. If the student is claiming that they went in and completed the assignment, it will not say that it is unopened. So the student is, in fact, lying at that point. They're trying to get, extra time to do it. They're trying to give that excuse. And I know that we've all heard those excuses before, but that's okay. We are just trying to make it clear and transparent to the student that we know that they did not open it up. Maybe there was something else going on in that particular student's life that they weren't able to get to, and we're trying to cover it up. Coming back into the instructor view, all I want to do is go back to this example assignment. I click into this and I can see over here on the top right, I do not have any submissions. But if I go to the submission page, I can see that the preview user has opened it on a particular date at a particular time. It does tell me in that student status that there is a draft saved, but there's nothing for me to grade because they didn't submit it. If I look at the other students, they did not click the button view assessment, so it is unopened. If the students are saying that they did go in there and submit it, but it does give us the status that it is unopened, the only possible explanation is that the server has not updated yet, or the student was on some kind of old version of that page. It was not refreshed. They lost connection at some point. So we do see that if there was some kind of connection lost, but it will automatically give this status if they click that view assessment. They have to click that button in order for it to say open. Now I'm going to go back to this assignment itself as a student and update my status by saving it as a draft. All I'm going to do is go back into that student preview user. I'm going to go to the assignment itself. I'm going to click on view assessment. That is telling me that it's open. Now, if I go into the submission box, we can see that this is the save and closed box here is not available. The submission box is not available. And if I click off of this, you can see that it's still not available. What this means is that the student cannot actually submit this without going into this box and actually typing their response into this box and then clicking off of this. This is mobile responsive, so the student would have to click into the box on their cell phone and then also click off of it to be able to activate these buttons. And that has specifically to do with your cell phone using your thumb or using your finger to go through this environment. So now that I've typed in this box as a student, I can then save it as a draft. You can see that it already saved it automatically once I clicked off of that box. I can manually save it and close, or I can hit submit. I'm going to go ahead and save and close so we can then see what the status looks like on the instructor side. I'm going to exit preview user. I'm going to save the preview user and that its data. I'm going to go into that assignment itself. I can go to the submissions. You can still see that it's 0. But if I go back, I can see that the person has opened it and saved it as a draft. At this point, we see that the student did 2 things. They opened the assignment, they clicked off of it, it saved it as a draft automatically. And they also went into the assignment, they typed something in the box and manually saved it. Either way, it's going to give us a status that it is saved as a draft and it is still open. They have not submitted anything at all. Let's take a look what it looks like when a student submits. So I've gone back into my student preview user. I'm jumping into the assignment. I click on this and it does say view assessment. Again, I have to open this up. It is now opening it up. I do have my saved draft here. So if the student started typing and they jump off of it, it will save it in that box. But I'm going to go ahead and finish typing my submission here. I will then go and click off of it. You can see that these buttons reactivate, and I'm going to click the button to hit submit. It will pop up a message that says you're about to submit. You can't edit this assignment after you do. And then I hit submit again. But if I canceled, it is not going to submit. It is always going to be in that saved draft setting. So what I'm going to do is go ahead and hit submit and confirm my submission. It now pops up a window that says your submission is successful. It gives the time and date. It also gives a confirmation number for that submission receipt. It does allow the student to download this, and we close this window by clicking closed. It does submit an email to the student saying that they have submitted their assignment, and it gives them that submission receipt. So downloading it as an actual file where it will email them their status when they actually close out of that. Going into the instructor view, I can then go back and see that the student actually submitted something. I go right to that assignment, open it up, and you can see that I now have 1 submission. If I click on this, I can see the student actually attempted it, and it is not red because it is under within that time limit, within that window of opportunity, that it's not late. So they did attempt it on this time. It is submitted. I can see that, and it's 1 attempt. And if I want to see this attempt, I can simply click into this box, and it now puts me on the page where this user is. It says that it's submitted. I, as the instructor, can get that receipt number here, and I can see what they typed. If they did upload a file, it would also open up right here. We can see inside that file, and I can now grade this according to what they submitted. I can give them feedback. If there was a rubric or an originality report, I can see all of that here. So now I can go throughout my grading. I now want to go into a test with a pool to complete it as a student in my student preview. Again, I'm going to just click on this. It's going to come over. It gives me a description in the box, tells me how many attempts. There is a safe assign enabled on this, and there is a due date. So if I go and click view assessment, it has now saved it as a draft. And if I go through here and click on answers and hit continue and go through this and hit continue, I'm just going to go through these questions and answer them, and it is saving my progress as I go. So if I'm taking a test, this test does not have a time limit, I can actually go and save and close out of this test. If I do that, it is saving my progress on this take. So I can go back into that. I can see it's going to start right where I left off. So students can go in and out of a test if there is no time limit. They are able to go in and complete these questions, save it as a draft. I do have where it prevents backtracking, so they can't go to the previous questions, which is always a good idea if you want them to have unlimited time to take the test. Just know that I'm going through here and I'm clicking on questions. I can click through all of these answers, and if I want to submit, I can click submit. Again, it says that you have unanswered questions. Do I want to submit this? I can't edit it once I do. I can continue to work. That is going to, again, save this as a draft. I'm going to go ahead and hit submit so we can see what it looks like. Again, it gives me that submission receipt. I can download it or I can hit close. It does send me an email or the student an email when they complete this. Let's go back to the instructor view and take a look. Save. Continue. I will now go to the test pool, click on this, and I can see that I have one submission. I'll go to that submission page. I can see that the student attempted at the particular time, at the particular date, and there's one attempt to grade. So it is very similar. I can then go into the student preview. I see that there's multiple attempts, so the attempt does come in a box. It has that submission receipt number there. And I can click into this attempt itself. I can see what they answered. I can see if they got any right using the color scheme here, red or green. I can see that they went through. I can see what they actually answered. If I continue to go, it will tell me what the correct answer is and did they actually submit an answer or not. I can give them feedback. I can see that if it's plagiarized or not through Safe Assign, and now I can grade accordingly. For the sake of this example, I'm going to take a look at their attempt. I'm going to erase their attempt. So I go into the submission, I can click the three dots and delete their attempt. This is going to allow us to actually erase that attempt. Student can go back in and complete this attempt or start the attempt over. It does put that unopened status back on that user. Very quickly, I'm going to go to the student preview. I'm going to go to this test itself, and I'm going to save it as a draft. So then we can see what it looks like if the student submitted it late. So I'm going to go in here. I'm going to answer some questions and continue and hit save as draft. In order for me to simulate what it looks like when a student submits something late or they submit something halfway or save that draft halfway while it's late, I'm going to edit the due dates of these particular assignments. I'm going to jump in this assignment. I'm going to move this due date past to a previous time and hit save. It will say that you're going to make changes and automatic zeros will occur. I'm going to go ahead and hit save and continue. I'm going to go down to the test and change the due date here. This is the one that the student is in the middle of that attempt. So I'm going to go and pick a previous date and hit save and change date. And now I'm going to go into my actual submissions. I'm going to go first into the assignment and see that we have one submission here. But we do see that the attempt was made on a particular date and it gave me a late option. It is in red. So the student completed it late. The due date is at a particular time and they completed it on the 31st here. The other students are unopened and late, so they have not opened it up and it is late. You can see that I have automatic zeros posted and it automatically posted their grade. Let's quickly take a look at the test where we have a saved draft. We can go in here and see that the submission is no submission. It says that it is opened, it is draft saved, and it is late. So we can see that the other two students are unopened and late. They have not clicked on that status, but this student here is now open, but it is late. So there you have it, the various student submission settings and the statuses. If you go in there and see that it is unopened, the student did not view the actual assessment itself, or if it is open but they did not save it, it will save as a draft and it will not delete their progress. The last thing is submitting it. It will give them the submission receipt, so we can look that up. And if there's multiple attempts, we have multiple receipts. I hope this video was helpful. I'll see you on the next one. Thanks for watching.